Hello everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to another design team project for Not Too Shabby. Today I'm using the Not Too Shabby Happy Halloween stamp to create this fun, very pink Halloween card. So here's a close-up of the stamp. This is part of the newest release. It has all these adorable little witches and the candy corn with the witch hat, and then some little accessories here, and I love all of these different witches. So for this card, we're just going to be using the one witch to the bottom left here that I'm coloring. And today I'm using my brush markers. So I'm using a combination of Arteza, Tombow, and Ziggs. And I had these on my desk because I just created a brush marker class for the Collective Creators. So if you're not familiar with the Collective Creators, it's a new community for crafters, and there are a number of different membership benefits, including online card classes. So each month there's new classes to enjoy, and I was really having fun creating a brush marker class, talking all about the basics, how to color with them, making backgrounds, etc. So if you want to check that out, the link to the Collective Creators is always in my description box below. So you can see here I'm just coloring. I'm using my markers directly on the paper, and then I'm using a water brush to pull that color out. Now, whenever I color images with brush markers, I do typically go over them twice. So you're going to see me here lay down one layer of color, let that dry, and then I'm going to go back and add another layer of color. So it all depends on the look that you're going for and what your preference is. But if you leave it one layer, it has that really soft, pretty watercolor look. I wanted a little bit of a darker color with some greater differences in variation with my shadows and stuff. So went ahead and did a second layer. Now, I decided to go with a very pink card, so I'm using mostly pinks and then bringing in a little bit of red here to accent our witch, and I'm going to bring in some red Distress Oxide when we move into the background for this card as well. But I wanted to do a pink color palette because 1, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and 2, I thought it would be fun to do something a little different for a Halloween card. And then 3, I wanted to show you that although this stamp set is called Happy Halloween and obviously has a Halloween focus, you can use this card or these stamps for cards throughout the year. So the sentiment that I'm going to be using says, "You're wicked awesome." So really not related to Halloween at all. So if you have someone in your life who adores witches, maybe they're fans of Wizard of Oz and like the witches in the story or whatever, this one kind of reminds me of Glenda the Good Witch in her pink little outfit. And if you have someone maybe going to see the Broadway play Wicked, then you could use this stamp set throughout the year. So that was the motivation behind doing a pink Halloween card. So I hope you like the monochromatic look of the variations of pinks for Halloween. So I'm just going to continue coloring here. I know the video title is, I think I found the answer to glitter, and I will talk a little bit about that as I get on to creating embellishing the card. But I kind of had to laugh at myself when I created this card because I think there's, this common idea or notion that there could never be too much never be too much glitter on a card, and I think I have solved the mystery that yes, there perhaps actually can be too much glitter on a card. So love to know what you think. Are you a glitter person? Are you not a glitter person? If you're not a glitter person, then you may be cringing a little bit in this video because I definitely made some mistakes with glitter, and by the time that I was done creating this card, I had glitter just about everywhere on my body, from the tip of my head to my feet. So this is going to kind of be a lesson in don't do what I do, learn from my mistakes. But I'm just going to finish up the coloring here. I did want to mention, you're going to notice that I make a mistake coloring her face. So I had my markers out and I by accident, I grabbed a light pink marker when I was doing her skin instead of a light kind of flesh tone. So you can see here, her face is pink. And as I'm doing this, I'm wondering what I was thinking and why I kept going. But the reason that I kept going was because with the brush markers, they are so forgiving. So you can see here, I'm laying down the color. I knew I probably wasn't going to get all the color picked up, and I wanted to see if I could fix it. So I did lay down some water, pick that up with a clean part of my paper towel. I'm going to let that dry, and then you're going to see here that I'm going to actually bring back the correct marker that I wanted to use for her skin and go over top, and it takes away that pink. So just have patience with your brush markers. I think that's one of the biggest things I could say. I know if you're new to coloring as well, it can be frustrating, but the brush markers are super forgiving. So here you can see I'm going over that with this fair skin tone colored marker, and it's fixing it. So that made me so happy. I didn't have to start over. So I encourage you to try to fix whatever you don't like on a card before giving up. Now you'll notice here, I also managed to get black ink all over my fingers and didn't quite notice right away. My black Arteza marker had leaked in the cap, and I cleaned it up but didn't realize that it was on the barrel of the marker. So I was covered in ink and glitter by the end of this card. So I've got my image here. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut her out. She was super easy to cut out. I did leave a little bit of a white border for her just to make it a little bit easier to cut out the image. Once I get her cut out, I'm going to add some detailing. So this is glitter step number 1, I guess. So I'm going to use the Prisma Glitter by Fawn, which is my favorite glitter. I'm using the Quickie glue pen here. This is almost, well, it is like a ballpoint pen. You can have you get a lot of control with this particular glue pen. And I love it for the Prisma glitter. The Prisma glitter is a very fine glitter. It has tons of sparkle. So I'm going to add this to the broom just to have it shine a little bit. And then I'm going to add it to the little buckle on the top of her hat as well. And also I went back and I dabbed the little cheek part on her face, and I added glitter to that as well. So she's not only got some rosy blush on her cheek, but it also sparkles because it's Halloween. And at this point, I was on the train of you can never have too much glitter on a card. So at this point, all is well, not making a mess, very controlled, and loving the amount of glitter that I have. Now I'm just using my craft pick here to just maybe clean up that area where I got some glitter that I didn't want in that spot. So you can use your craft pick really easily to go ahead and clean up those areas, and it will come off nicely. So what I'm going to let her dry and work on the background. So I'm doing a Distress Oxide blend here for my background. I'm using Spun Sugar for the lightest. Then I'm going to bring in the Worn lipstick, I've got pink on my brain, the Picked Raspberry, and the Festive Berries. So I want to have an ombre look, so I'm going to have the darkest at one end and then work my way down. So I'm going to do this up really quickly, and you'll notice I'm using my blending tools, the traditional ones, and I haven't used these in so long, and I felt like they needed some love, and honestly, I forgot how much I love these. I love my blending buddies and my makeup brush, like all the different ones out there. I have ones from various companies. I love them all and have been using those pretty much solely for the last little while. And when I got these out, I just remembered how easy they make it to blend full background. So I'm going to get those blending brushes back out. Now we're going to move on to creating kind of the focal panel of my card, and this is going to be an interactive slider card. So I went ahead and cut out 2 circles using my Infinity Circle dies. I'm just using a little bit of gray brush marker here, and this is some indirect to paper coloring. So I'm laying the color down on my glass mat and then I'm picking it up with the water brush. This is going to be a moon, and I wanted there to be a little bit of detail in this. So I'm going to use the one as the back panel for my little slider, and I just wanted to show you that you don't have to do a full card for slider cards, because I know sometimes that can require a lot of foam tape, and so you can actually just choose a focal image to have your slider piece. So that's kind of what I wanted to show today. So I'm using the circles or the moon as my main focal panel, and this will be where my slider mechanism is. So I'm going to go ahead, I cut 2 smaller circles to go on either side of my little slider element there, and that's by MFT. And these make slider cards so easy. So I'm going to go ahead and add my foam tape, and I only use 1 layer for my slider cards. And once I get the foam tape on, I'm just going to move my mechanism front to back to make sure that foam tape isn't getting in the way of the slider mechanism. So sometimes you need to play with this a little bit just to get the right spots. And then once I'm happy with where my foam tape is, I'm going to bring in my little powder tool, and this will help take the stick off the sides closest to the slider mechanism and will let it, I guess, move more freely. So this is super helpful to use some powder to help with the process of your slider card. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert that little piece of the slider channel to the back of my moon. And then I can go ahead and insert the panel onto the little back panel of my slider card, or my slider element, I guess. Of course, I didn't get it where it needed to be, so I just need to fix that up a little bit. And then you can see I constantly check to make sure that that slider mechanism works, because you don't want to get too far in your card and realize something's in the way, it's not moving well. But it is moving great, so I'm going to add some red line tape there to my little circle where my witch will sit. And that's a great strong adhesive, so it should allow multiple times for people to play with that slider and nothing fall apart. So I did need to trim up my back panel here. I did cut the Bristol Smooth cardstock a little bit larger than an A2 size card, so I went ahead and trimmed that down, and now I'm going to place my moon onto my panel. Getting out my ATG gun, which I haven't used that in forever either. I'm obsessed with my art glitter glue, but I wanted to make sure that this was good and adhered down to my back panel. Of course, trying to get that centered in the card as much as possible, and then I can apply my pressure once it's in the spot that I want it to be. Okay, so now here's where I decided I wanted to add some shimmer to my moon. So again, I'm happy here. I'm happy with the amount of glitter that this provides, and so all is good in glitter world at the moment. Now I decided that I wanted to bring in the Lawn Fawn chunky glitter just to add some accents to my moon. And the biggest mistake that I made here was that I forgot that I put the shimmer pen down and it wasn't dry. So I'm adding my chunky glitter and I'm realizing this is sticking to the entire moon. So then I thought, well, I do like the look of this and it's sticking, so perhaps if I lay down more shimmer pen, the chunky glitter will stick to that and adhere to it. I don't know what I was thinking, because shimmer pen is not an adhesive. It is not going to stick. So it was falling off all over the place, and off screen I decided to go ahead and use my glue pen and add some more glitter. So here's where the glitter took a turn for the worse. So I ended up putting too much glue on my moon and had large areas of chunky glitter all over that moon. And like I said, I think I solved the mystery that yes, in fact, there can be too much glitter on a card. You can see I didn't give it enough time to dry, so the glitter was getting all over my glass mat. I was having to clean that up. I should have just been patient and let it dry, but sometimes when you're making videos, you just kind of want to keep going with the process. So the other thing I would say with the chunky glitter is I think I need to put it into a larger container so that I can add it to my projects and it doesn't get all over the place. But basically, if you're adding a lot of glitter to a project, let it dry. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't love the way this moon turned out, just because I think it would have looked a lot better if that chunky glitter was more of an accent as opposed to kind of being a full-fledged element on that moon. But it is what it is, and some of you may like that much glitter. I'd love to know, do you think there's such a thing as too much glitter? And I'm sure some of you would say any amount of glitter is too much glitter on a card, because I know there's a lot of people that have a love-hate relationship with it. But moving on, we learn from every card we make. So I definitely learned some lessons here. Number 1, don't use shimmer pen as an adhesive. It's not. Number 2, go easy with the glitter. So I'll remember that moving forward. To finish off this card, I stamped the sentiment, "You're Wicked," on the front of the card. I'm adding some of these silver confetti. These I just got at the dollar store. They were in my stash. I thought I'd put them to good use. And our little witch can now move freely from one side of the moon to the other. I'm going to stamp Awesome on the inside of the card, and then I'm going to add 3 more of the star confettis to the inside of my card to finish off my card. My card is now complete. I have my adorable little witch here. Now she will slide on her own, but the glitter was still wet here, so I'm just helping her move along. But once that dried, I can just move the card, dip it kind of down and up, and she will move nicely in the slider channel. So that's the card for today. A very pink card, a very glittery card, but I think it is still cute nonetheless. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you really soon in the next video. I'm hoping to get a Doodlebug video up with multiple cards using the latest Candy Carnival paper pad and stamp set, so look forward to that. Here's a couple more videos to keep you happy till you see me the next time. I've got some older Halloween cards up there for you. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.